is John Danner, who's going to talk about interdependence. John is right here at Haas.
You know, when it came time to prepare the front page for 2014, we were sort of surprised that our team, and our team, by the way, is spectacular. There's just no other word to describe it. We're frankly surprised that we were put in a devolutionary workspace. We were working with paper. We were asked to come up with a front page that seemingly was in paper. So I was able to go back into the Museum of Technology, and I found an old version of an iPad here that
which was launched 5 years ago.
Yeah, this is model 1.0, which just gives you an idea of how devolutionary our workspace was. And since I'm here on the corporate behalf, you know, we thought we ought to just sort of show the flag a little bit. So, our idea.
Very clever. He's trying to win over the sponsor here.
Our idea.
The audience will not be swayed, sir. It's a very high-minded group we have here.
Our idea is about the creation, announced just recently, of the Declaration of Interdependence. On our front page of the magazine, and by the way, you'll notice that these little things on the side, that indicates that this is just one medium that we're working in. You can punch any of those buttons on the right and switch into Dig or YouTube or any other medium of your choice, because we know you're not going to be limited in terms of format for getting this message across. So we have on the left here Thomas Jefferson, TJ, that's how you can recognize Thomas Jefferson, one of the founders. And he's saying basically, I only got it half right, because he's the primary author of the Declaration of Independence, which when you think about it, might have been in effect the beta business model for the last 200 years. But in a world where we recognize that we share a climate, that we can infect one another with diseases over an airplane, that we all are vulnerable to the despair that comes from pervasive inequality, we think that it is time for a Declaration of Interdependence as a fundamental value platform upon which our institutions operate, be they families, societies, governments, or organizations. Our Director of Research, Shelley, who also acted as our art director on this, came up with some wonderful research that indicated, you all are familiar with the S-curves of what's happening in terms of successive waves of technology, from transportation to IT to connectivity to miniaturization, etc. Well, it was exactly that S-curve that gave our team the inspiration to say, well, those are really the underpinnings, those are the infrastructure, if you will, that make possible a new business model. And that new business model for governance is about interdependence. You can see how far we've come. Up top here it says Goldman Sachs creates a social good financial instrument. These guys are terrific at being able to monetize new concepts, and we were delighted that they announced this new social good financial derivative.
Is that what their name is after they buy Jeff's underwear company?
Well, we're not quite sure. We knew that social media had some better use than just connectivity, because what's the good of ubiquitous connectivity if we don't make the world better as a result of that connectivity? We see that eBay has solved third world needs. We know now that the Mideast is the safest place on the earth. And most importantly, perhaps, in the area of memes, which drive culture, which are leading indicators of culture, C2C, cradle to cradle, is now replacing the mantra of capitalism, which we nicknamed IPEC. What's that stand for? By the way, you could also substitute OPEC for that, but in this case it's IPEC, which is internalized profit, externalized costs. That's now been replaced by cradle to cradle in 2014. And then finally, just to make sure that we're not limiting ourselves to an adult audience that is technologically proficient, we realized that metrics were key to be able to monitor our performance. Indeed, as some of our team members were talking about it, it is this very interdependence that makes possible an explosion of individual creativity by leveraging the kinds of technologies that are now available to us. And we've created a metric on the bottom right, which we sort of nicknamed, it's called World at a Glance. We sort of nicknamed that the Global Interdependence Index. And it has basically 4 simple elements. It has carbon, because we think that's ultimately the monitor of sustainability. It has equality, which is ultimately a global Gini coefficient type of measure of whether or not we're reducing the pyramid structure and making it more of an explosion of the middle class. We have a peace or tolerance indicator. And finally, we have got to try to remember now. Finally, we have a, let's see, hold on here, let me get this. My editor's left me a little bit in the lurch here. Oh yes, finally, opportunity. Opportunity. We wanted to basically track gross educational level on the theory that education is what is the fundamental accelerator of future innovation. So you put that all together, and oh, by the way, you'll notice that those are simple bar charts, not like the UPC on the left. These are kid-readable indices. You can punch a button, and you will instantly change and get an update on your country, your organization, your village, your community, using exactly these same simple metrics to track how much progress we're making towards interdependence. And finally, last but not least, our team. And our team is, shall we say, the personification of interdependence. So, team. I forgot one other thing there, and that's Tom's
I strongly protest this disruptive innovation.
So, let's see, do we have this?
What happened to my Singaporean model of running this conference? It's all going awry.
Got it? So there you go. There's our team.
All right.
Without it, there's interdependence, we wouldn't have made the conference. Thank you.
Very good, team. You have forfeited from your audacity the chance for further questions, but I think we get the idea. Thank you very much. Let's